Hello and welcome from Albert Park, Australia for today's race. And I think it's shaping up to be a classic. What a great start to the season for Nico Rosberg. He's on pole for today's race. He'll be delighted with how qualifying went yesterday, but knows there's a lot of hard work to come before he can secure that race win.
Well, Nico will be focused on the task at hand. He's on pole position, he's proven his speed, and if he can just stay out in front, he should be able to create a gap. So I think he's got a good chance of victory today, as long as he has no car issues along the way.
With its raw speed, the Williams is looking great this weekend, and the way Valtteri Bottas is driving, well, I wouldn't bet against him securing his first ever podium finish today.
Valtteri has been dialed into the track in every session. I really feel that he can challenge the Mercedes today and potentially get on the podium.
Hello guys, my name is Sam and welcome back to another video on my channel. Specifically, my first Formula 1 video in a very long time. But what has made me go back to Formula 1? Well, the game I feel is really excellent. I have really been enjoying it single player. A lot of people have been giving it really good criticism, but I've not really found a lot of buds yet, as of yet. I hope I won't be finding any more. But I'm going to be doing a career mode from 2014 to 2015. So let's start off with the McLaren Mercedes of Jenson Button at the first round of the 2014 season opener. So as we rev up now to 5 red lights, 4, 5 lights, and away we go from third place on the opener. Rosberg got the pole from Hamilton second. Here comes Bottas round the outside of me. I go back. Vettel's on the inside. Can't really go anywhere else. I just have to sit behind Bottas, and we luckily managed to do so. Going down the net straight, we put up the fuel to Rich Bits free. We're right on the back of Bottas. Can we try and get him? Break a little bit early, let it roll into the corner and manage to get third place away from Bottas. But Bottas is fighting back. Didn't realise at the time, but he actually spun and caused the track to block up completely. I get a warning for that. Of course, I would separately accept that warning for the collision. But at the moment, we are P1, or not P1. We are P3 as Jenson Button in the McLaren Mercedes, and we're going to try and see if we can catch up to these two Mercs in front. Very surprised that Hamilton's not actually in the lead. Rosberg took the glory in that from pole, and he's still leading the way. But what is my target for this race? I reckon a podium right now. If I can qualify third, I'm going to be aiming for third on the grid. As we jump to the beginning of lap 3, DRS is now active. As Bottas is struggling with tyres, he's falling a second behind. We are now right on the back of Hamilton's gearbox, going through the left-hander now. Let's see if we can get close enough, as Hamilton makes a little bit of wiggle on the exit there. And now we've got a good line coming through onto the back of Hamilton, looking to the outside. No, not really any room there to make a move. We're sick behind him, and the more wiggling from Hamilton's rear end. And now we're going through the fast right-hander. We've got a lot of speed here. Can we have a look? No, we cannot again. Just having to be cautious, because the AI is really defensive now when battling for position. It's a shame that I can't set up for the back markers, but when as we've got good levels of grip, we'll go to the right. Hamilton blocks. We've got no overspeed now and then. We'll just duck down behind Hamilton, and we'll just get the DRS for the pit straight. But again, the AI is really good at defending, really good at overtaking as well. If you move to the right, they'll constantly move to the right rather than drive straight on a constant path. It's a shame again for the back markers that don't do the same thing when they're being blue flagged or being overtaken. That's the only thing that's ruining the game for me, as I get DRS now. Coming on to lap 4 of 58. Hamilton's just got the line. Can we late break him into turn 1? Very nice, smooth. As now we overtake Hamilton, now we can start to get away and try and close down Nico Rosberg. A lot of people also have been saying that they're unable to see the damage or tyre wear. There is a way. I'm not sure, because on PC it's mapped on my wheel for the G27. So I'm not too sure if it needs to be remapped in the options. That's what I would suggest to see if it does come up. But I am getting temperatures and damage and my fuel, how much fuel I got feeling going into Rich Bits 3 or going into any other mode. But as you jump now to lap 7 of 58, we go through a quick left right. As there's a lower flag ahead. I do love the LED boards lighting up now. It's so much better. And we can just see there's a recovering Alonso. It looks like he's got a puncher on the rear left by the looks of things. I have to take avoiding action because the AI doesn't know where to move. That, again, that is the only criticism I got of the game so far, what I played. It's just the AI, when being lapped, they don't know where to go. They think, oh no, I gotta move out of the way quick. But yeah, you're already halfway of overtaking the guy, you just spin. Which I find absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, lap. We're gaining a second away from Hamilton, which is unbelievable considering I'm in the McLaren Mercedes. We get DOS thanks to Alonso, very slow car. And now we jump onto lap 14 of 58. Coming to the end of this first stint, as we're going to get a message from Jeff. Yes, Jeff is our engineer, going to say to pit in this lap, and we will do so. So we've got enough fuel to get us to the end. We just got to be careful with it as we go down to limits, just to see if that does save us any fuel while going into the pits. As Rosberg is also in the pits as the same lap as we are, going through the final part of the corner and jumping down the pit lane to see our brand new fresh option tyres, I believe it's going to be. So in we go into the pits of 37 miles per hour, diving into McLaren stop, and let's see how fast this is going to be. It's going to be a nice 2.5 second stop there for McLaren, so not bad, boys, not bad. Keep us going throughout all season and we'll be looking good for the championship. So we're coming out in P4 as I nearly ran over the white line. And Massa is now ahead of us, which is not so bad, but I don't think he actually hasn't pitted yet, so that could be a benefit for us in the long run. As we now jump to lap 18 of 58, we are now closing up on Felipe Massa in his Martini Williams car. Closing up on the brake. You can see how much grip we've got with these new tyres compared to Massa's old tyres. But as we're doing that, we've got to be careful of the car behind. That is Lewis Hamilton, so we've got to clear Massa quite quickly to be able to not lose a lot of time on the gap that we did have to Lewis. So we're still on the back of Massa, nowhere to overtake. It's just so slow, it's got no grip. But because of that, Hamilton is ever closer. We will have DRS, so that is an advantage that we will have. But every time I look for a move like we're looking now, look at Hamilton, look at the gap he's brought down from the pit stop. Annoyingly, Massa now pits. So I'm already out of sync or off the racing line. We'll get DRS. Hamilton now looking very racy. Goes to the right hand side. I'll try and cover the line as much as I can. But knowing that he will have the inside line, I'll let him have it. Try and get the cut back. He brakes right on the apex. Why would you do that, Lewis? And now we have to try and see if we can get it back. We've got DRS once again, but Lewis Hamilton has got DRS once again. We brake. Ooh, just lock up the front right. Just lock up the front right tyre just so we're not ramming into Hamilton and avoiding us getting ourselves a penalty. But now we're going to have to try and chase down Hamilton for that second place back. Rosberg is out of nowhere. We have no idea how far Rosberg is up the road, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm just worried about getting Lewis Hamilton back on this lap or two. Now we're still closing out. We're getting a bit more grip from our tyres. A little bit of wiggle there coming out there, hitting at the grass. And now we're going up to Richards 3 to try and see if we can close up and get a second behind Hamilton. Going up to the DRS detection point. Look at the run we've got. We're closing up on Hamilton. We go to the left, going round the outside now of Lewis Hamilton. Going round the outside of the right-hander. Going into it. Hamilton's still on the inside. Hamilton, a little bit of a touch there on his side pod. We will have DRS going into the right-hander. Now coming up to the right corner, the very slow left-hander. Down to second gear, 50 miles per hour. Right behind Hamilton now. Hamilton gets a good line out of here. I stand slightly wide, but now I get DRS. Can I? Or will I be able to catch up to Hamilton on this straight? The answer will probably be no, way far back. But now we're braking at the LD board, turning in early, getting a good run. Now we're right on the back of Hamilton nearly. DRS is now active. Can we get a run on Hamilton? We're looking very late braking into it, locking the front right. Hamilton's still on the outside. We make contact. We're still making contact. We've slid. We collided. And Hamilton spins. Hamilton spins in P3 because it looked very late braking. I gotta admit, that was kind of my bad from that. So I'm sorry to Hamilton for that. But as we now jump on to lap 22 of 58. So we've got, in the next 5 laps, Rosberg will be in the pits again as we go for the right-hander. Emerson just comes out the pits in 21st. And oh dear, we're going for a spin. We've rejoined quite quickly to try to keep second. And no, Hamilton's got by. Emerson, what were you doing, man? You were so slow coming out of turn 1. Absolutely ridiculous. And because of that, I got a warning for him for a collision with Emerson. He got disqualified. Because now it shows 21 cars out of 21 cars out of 22 cars on the lap. But now we're jumping on to lap 26 of 58. We're still in third. Hamilton's 5 seconds down the road as there's multiple yellow flags coming out now. But as you can see, it's starting to rain. We're going to probably switch to intermediates now. As I try to switch my strategy, I outbrake myself. Now we change it to intermediate tyres, so we're ready for the next stop. And now we'll have to wait and see what we can do with this. It's now starting to rain and it's very chaotic car. Hamilton and Chilton's everywhere. There's a gap through the middle. I bounce off of Hamilton. I will get through that with ease. But again, I don't know what the AI is doing. It's very difficult to overtake back markers in this game compared to other games. I really don't know why. Because of that now, you can just see all the damage and the temperatures and tyres are so dead cold. We are probably going to be fitting a brand new set of intermediate tyres to manage to keep ourselves on track. So we now fade into the pit lane. Green flag waves as there's been another instance behind as we now come into the pits. Down to 37 miles per hour once again. And I believe Hamilton is also pitting in the Mercedes, or yeah, in the Mercedes rather. We're in the pits. What time is this going to be? It's going to be another 2.5 stop. Brilliant stop there on McLaren. And now we're going to head out on our way on our set of intermediate tyres that we're going to be seeing for the first time this weekend. Just got to be careful now because I've not really been in a wet race at the moment on F1 2015. So it's my first time going in to wet conditions and let's see how well I will do. I have had a little bit of practice here and then just to see what the tyres were because it was a wet qualifying 3. But that was a full wet tyre, so I have got some experience, but not in these very light rain situation. We're now going to be jumping onto lap 30 of 58. The rain is getting so much heavier now. It looks like it's a storm brewing right now. Really heavy rain. And we're now going to switch to the full wet tyre. Hamilton has overtook us in the process of this. So we're going to be now down to P3. As again, another 2.4 second stop from the McLaren team. So that's really, really good. And now we have to really be careful now on putting the power out the corners because the torque of these 2014 engines now is so immense that we've just got to be so careful of just putting the power down, especially look at the conditions now. Puddles are forming around the track, as you can see just offline now, and look, just putting the power down, it's just kind of floating the back end now. It's just absolutely crazy. I don't really get the engineer. We've just changed the wet tyres. We don't really want to be going back to the intermediate tyre. But hey ho, we'll just ignore Jeff and we'll carry on with the rest of the thing. So we're on lap 32 now, 58. We go to Richmond's 3. Hamilton finally pits for a set of full wet tyres. And now we're back up to P number 2. And we'll try and gain as much time on him as we can as we slide through the exit of turn number 1. Just enjoy the power oversteer moments. We'll now jump to that 36 of 58 and I believe Hamilton is now right behind us. As you can see, just all the puddles around the track really getting much wetter now. Really have to be careful with putting the power down, but Lemert just seems to have so much grip than us and we have to try and keep our position away from him. We do see a back marker ahead, I believe, of Roman Grosjean in his Lotus, but look at Hamilton now. Hamilton really closing up on the back of our McLaren gearbox. He's looking to the right now, seeing if we can make a move. He won't. He sits behind us. I don't really care about the fuel right now because we're going to be saving a lot of it compared to this wet weather. Here's Hamilton looking to the in now, looking around the outside. No move there. We go slightly deep into the corner. Hamilton will have a good line coming out here. We go look. He's got to look to the right. I try and keep my line. There's no room and there's no room. And we spin. We both spin this time compared to Hamilton spin on his own. Hamilton faces the right way. I now have to do a 5-point turn to try and get back into the race. But now there goes Raikkonen. That's bad news. There goes Vettel. That's even worse news for us in the McLaren. We're trying to get a podium here and we lose 2 positions in one go. Now we've got to try and get through all these puddles, make sure we guys stick it back onto the road now, as we don't really want to be losing any more position from stupid mistakes or very quite interesting overtakes. As we go round the outside and we just spin in the aquaplane on the puddles on the track. But there is a Williams of Felipe Massa. Luckily we're not fighting for position with him, but unfortunately at the time I did not see another car on the minimap. I saw another car on the minimap coming through the final corner now. I didn't realise in my mirrors Bottas is right behind for 6th place. So now he's going to be looking for 5th place from me. And just look at the puddles. No one really wants to be going offline as I go slightly wide. Here comes Bottas. Go look round the outside. He aquaplanes off completely and actually hits the wall. That was what that noise was. And at the time I was wondering, did I hit something? I'm not too sure. But luckily it wasn't us. Bottas is still behind, and now with the damage he will have to make a pit stop to get that repaired. So, sit rep. We're over halfway through the race. We're on P5 after losing 2 positions thanks to the contact with Hamilton and our overtake. And now it's just me trying to get to the end and try and save us something. So, Hamilton has pitted already. Look at Kobayashi, Perez, all carnage, and there's Raikkonen. Raikkonen going slow. What has happened there? Has he got a puncture? Has he made contact with another car? It doesn't matter. I'm back as a P2 and now Vettel is leading the race. Well, what's happened to Rosberg? And this is what I mean by the AI. They just don't know what they're doing. They're going so... Look. Just turning while I'm going through. It's just... very frustrating. We'll just try to overtake back markers right now, as I now get frustrated in locking up, and now we've got a back marker right behind. I believe that's Kimi Kobayashi right behind it is, but he's actually got a time penalty for some sort of reason. But now we jump onto lap 47 of 58, and we're now probably going to pit for another set of wet tyres, I believe. I'm not too sure. I'm pitting from P2. And there's a back marker just going through and a track, and now we're in the pits, and we're yep, another set of the all wet tyres at 2.2 second stop. That is just going quicker and quicker each time I make a pit stop, so that's fantastic news for the McLaren team. So now we come out back into P2, and now it looks like the rain's getting lighter now, so it is still quite a wet track. I thought it's still wet enough for these wet tyres, but I'm afraid it isn't what it seems. You can just see here now, it just isn't working. We have to go back to our intermediate tyres because the track is just drying up so much quicker than anticipated. So now, as I see, Hamilton just goes by on his inter tyres, and that is going to be me out of sync now with the rest of the field as I spin the rear tyres up a little bit there, forcing me to go off the racing line. And it does look like I will have to pit now for these inter tyres. Not really a good thing, not really a good idea, but I'll still carry on for another lap. I don't really know why I did that, just to see if I can actually manage to keep on going. But then I realised we won't be able to do, just going to lose too much time, and decide to come into the pits just behind Perez in the Force India, and we're going to pit for some intermediate tyres. So hopefully our plan, we can try and get past the Force India of Perez in the pits, because we're not racing him, so effectively if we can get out in front of him, it'll be a clear track for me. But as I come into the pits, Vettel goes into P2, and now Raikkonen just goes by for P3. 2.3 seconds stop, the Force India is now behind us, so that's all really good news. But Rosberg goes past now for P4. So we've now lost 3 positions because of that, and now we've got to try and fight back as DRS is now enabled for the remaining of the race. So at the moment it looks very interesting from me now. We jumped to lap 53 or 58. We've got 6 laps remaining of the Grand Prix. And you can just see the sun is starting to come out now. Clouds are starting to give way to see the nice sun beating down on this track in the last few laps remaining. We accidentally made contact with Rosberg there, which I didn't want to do. Wasn't meant to force Rosberg off the track, considering he was actually leading this race very dominantly. But I did not mean to do that. Now we're on lap 54 now. 5 laps to go. Here's Raikkonen on nearly a bone dry track as he's still on his wet tyres. On inters, it's easy pickings for me. Just easily go by and be able to get third place back again. Vettel is in P2, but he's a long way down the road right now. But as we turn into the right-hander, we're still deciding whether or not to go on to the dry tyres with a handful of laps to go. As we look at the temperatures, they're really skyrocketing above optimal temperatures, so we're not really getting as good a grip as possible here. But we're now jumping to lap 55 or 58. We have 4 laps to go as we decide to go into the pits and gamble for a set of option tyres. And we actually lose a bit of traction there going into the pits. We do get front end damage, but the game doesn't register that as me getting damage, which is quite fortunate really, because we would have had an extra couple of seconds stop just replacing that front nose. So we're down the pits. We're in 5th place now. We're going to go down to 6th, now down to 7th, behind Nico Hulkenberg, behind Jean-Eric Vergne now. So we're down in 7th. This is the lowest we've been all race. And we've got 3 laps to go to the end of the race to see what we can actually do with these option tyres. So now I think it's a perfect time to go like a bat out of hell. So, on to lap 56 and 58 now. We see Nico Rosberg really struggling now. I think he's still on his intermediate tyres. We'll just keep behind him. And as you can see, look at the chaos in front. Wow, Rosberg just pile driving to Kobayashi there. I think that's going to be a penalty there for Rosberg for not really understanding what cars slowing down mean. You've got to slow down yourself. So, we're now on the back of Raikkonen. We have DRS. Raikkonen does not have DRS and we just outbrake him so easily. He's still on his wet tyres, I believe. So he is just dropping places like a fly now. But with that in mind, we're 5th place. We've got 2 laps to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Vergne is in front. Well, 3 cars are in front actually. Vergne is in 4th. What can we do from here? And as you can see, a few overtakes there. That is a back marker of Perez again in the Force India. What we're seeing in this race, luckily it hasn't been causing me any incidents as I go round here or round the inside of him while he is still on his intermediate tyres. Why would he not? Just in case it might rain again, he's got every opportunity to gain some points, but back in that position, I don't think so. Anyway, we're going through the middle sector now and we're in 5th place now. Vergne is just ahead, followed by Hulkenberg. We'll go through the quick left, now through to the quick right, 150 miles per hour. Look at the speed we've got on Vergne. We're going to the left now. Vergne defends the inside line. And it's just as simple as taking candy from a baby. Round the outside of Vergne, we get back up to P4. And now Hulkenberg is next on our list for P number 3. What can we do from here? Going through the left-hander, there is one guy in the pits. I'm not sure if that's one of the leaders or not, but we're just going to carry on and fight with Hulkenberg. DRS is open now for us. We're going to go past the guy in the pits as well. We are now fighting for P2. We're on P2 now. We're actually in P2. Hamilton leads the race. And now I'm suddenly in contention of getting a podium. And look at Hulkenberg now, right on the back of us. We have to defend on the inside line, making sure he won't overtake us, just defending the line of us so there's nowhere else he can go. But now it looks like we're going to get P2 in this very up and down race. But it looks like we're definitely going to go. We're starting to go faster now. We did do the purple fastest lap of the race of 29.0. I believe, or it could be a 3.64. I don't know. It's a very small screen I have to play with this, but we're just being careful, not trying to get as much penalties as we can. But we're now gaining away from Hulkenberg. What is going to be the gap as we go through sector 2 now? It is going to be less than a second gap, so we've still got to push to a degree, just so Hulkenberg doesn't get DRS. But We're already a second in front. Hopefully, we surely will get P2 here. Hamilton will win the race with ease by 17 seconds or so as we go through for the last time up to the penultimate corner. Lewis Hamilton does indeed win the race. And now we're going to take second place in the McLaren Mercedes of Jenson Button. Out of the final corner we go, and we will take P2 with ease. That is a fantastic race with a fully lot of up and down situation there, from going to dry to wet to dry. But look at this: Hulkenberg P3, Jenson Button P2, and Lewis Hamilton on the top separate podium. That is race 1 of my 2014/2015 career mode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Feel free to give it a like. I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more of this game because I'm just enjoying single player so very much. Again, if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe to my channel and look out for more videos coming up on my channel very soon. But it's been Tom. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.